And some interesting speeches during the Conservative Political Action Conference this afternoon. The Lieutenant Governor of Texas is welcoming the audience to his state. NTD's Steve Lance brings us more.
Some of the CPAC speakers early Friday afternoon included Lieutenant Governor of Texas Dan Patrick, the owner of Goya Foods, and 3 Republican congressmen. Key topics included cancel culture, the importance of faith, and former President Donald Trump.
I was honored to be asked by Donald Trump to be his campaign manager in 2016 and again in 2020. And I spent the time with him last week in McAllen, and he looked over and he said to me, "Dan, are you ready for one more in 2024? This is not just about Democrats and Republicans. This is about darkness and light. This is about goodness and evil. This is about those who believe in God and those who believe God. There's a difference from believing in God and believing God. When you believe God, you're listening to what God says. You don't abort babies in the womb. You don't break up the family. And I know that together, we in Texas will come together in 2022, and we will keep this a red state. We will take back Congress.
Our democracy has lasted 245 years under God, yet we are seeing signs of division, moving away from God, and devaluing and destroying life, canceling our history, labeling and hating each other. As the greatest country on earth, we are the last bastion of freedom and democracy in our world. We are called to prosper and to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
I genuinely believe it's no longer Republican versus Democrat. It is now freedom-loving patriots versus people who worship at the altar of the state. And remember, the bigger that government gets, the smaller God must get. And they're trying to push God out of our schools. They're trying to force us to want to vote to have people like Dr. Fauci in command. And believe me, this is what we're up against. We are up against a tyrannical movement of globalists who worship at the altar of power. I want to remind you that as an American, you are not descended from fearful men. Because 245 years ago, 56 men met in Philadelphia to sign a document that was treason. To sign a document that said, we are going to have freedom in this nation. I don't care what you do about it. And my friends, it didn't happen by accident. This country was absolutely created on purpose. So when you think that you cannot make a difference because there are not enough of us, remember, 56 men put a small ember into our nation that then led to 3% of the American population standing up to actually fight for liberty. And because those 3% of people stood up and fought for our rights and liberties, you get to pass on freedom of speech. You get to pass on freedom of religion. You get to pass on the incredible freedoms that only this nation has. Because, my friend, in this country, we are not subjects, we are citizens. Remember that you are the royalty and the government works for you. It's time to take it back.
Other speakers on Friday night include Donald Trump Jr. and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Some former officials from the Trump administration will be speaking on Saturday and Sunday, and former President Donald Trump is expected to speak on Sunday afternoon. Steve Lance, NTD News, Dallas.